why they're so competitive against Tongans in rugby league. I don't know.
We're better at everything, though. We're better looking, too.
Yeah.
Welcome to Fika's Focus. Voices leading change.
Talofa lava, we're here with Ants, and Ants has been, well, if you haven't seen it, he's blown up on TikTok with his sharing of all the support for Samoan Language Week. Tate goes to Terrace Views, and Ashley's been working with us for a long time. But Talofa lava, brother, it's good to have you in.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me.
We're here to obviously explore Samoan Language Week. I know in the past the Language Weeks have picked up a lot of interest, and you've come in and done some stuff for us, which we always really appreciate. So just talk through what you were sharing. I saw some of the Samoan haka and all that, but what were you sharing with the kids the other day?
Well, yeah, it was a bit random what I was doing. Like I just rocked up because, like I'm not part of a group or anything like that. So I'm just like a one-man army type of thing. So I just came in and shared what I grew up with, which was the mili and pati. So it's kind of like things we use for like celebrations and competitions. So like rubbing the hands together and then the clap. It's just a bit of fun. And then the Siva, so our dance, which I think is important for me anyway. Just sharing that, like Samoan's got the best rhythm in the islands,
Yeah.
But and then our Siva tau, which is our version of the haka. It's just sharing a bit of, pretty much a bit of what I grew up with. And things that I enjoy from my culture.
So let's go back to that. Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Samoa. I came here when I was 16, and I'm now 28.
So whereabouts in Samoa?
So I grew up in Apia, so I was city boy.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't grow up climbing coconuts and things like that.
And so you came out here at 16. What was your level of English coming up here?
Almost to no English.
Yes.
Yeah, so like I could understand and I could write, but the speaking part was hard for me. And then it made it more difficult coming here because everyone here speaks in slang. So like what I learned in Samoa, and I learned a lot of my English from TV, from the movies. So I came here with a fresh American accent. So I was pronouncing all my R's and things like that. And people were like, "You from America?" I was like, "Bro, listen to me. Appreciate
it." So, and obviously you've got Tate now, and you speak Samoan to Tate?
Yeah, so it's a bit mixed. So I do some English and then some Samoan. Normally I speak Samoan to him when I'm growling him. But I'm trying to teach, and Ash is helping a lot with that, and same as with Sam. Just little words like don't, which is awa, and come here, which is sau. Just little words just to remind them.
Yeah. And the Language Week, in terms of acknowledging the Samoan thing, I also think there's a lot more to the Samoan culture. I've been lucky enough to grow up around it. The food's always important to me. But what are some of the real, I can certainly think of the real yummy foods that come out of Samoa, especially like pane popo and obviously all that stuff. But some of those things that were really part of the culture, that the kai, what would you have on a traditional meal and things?
For us, a pig. So just a full-on pig. So that's what we normally have for feasts and things like that. Celebrations at weddings, things like that. And palsami. Taro is everywhere. So taro, anywhere taro. Your funeral, wedding, wherever, taro is the main thing that's going to be there. It's mainly, heaps of meat and carbs. You see, you don't really see any salad or things like that, but
it's when celebrating the language, I always look forward to the kai, but it's the also the traditional gatherings, like what you're talking to. Do you see a lot of the culture? So weddings, if you use that, you see a lot of what you shared with us at Terrace Views. Would you see that at the traditional those events?
Yeah. It was just you see it in the Million Napati. You see it a lot in like sport days in Samoa, and like if you go to schools and things like that. I don't know if you've seen any videos.
Yeah.
So like things like that is real big in schools, and like the way they do it, it's amazing watching it.
Yeah.
Like all the kids are like in sync with the pati and the ball.
And the tiger.
Yeah, and the buffalo.
What's the origin of that?
I don't know.
I grew up with the tiger and the buffalo.
I don't know. Like I grew up when I was born, it was already there. And same with my parents.
I think it's kung fu, surely. Tiger.
Yeah, I reckon.
It's something like that. But I always grew up with that we'd always do that.
I don't know. I don't know where it came from or who started it, but it must have been there for years.
Who knows? And what you're wearing today?
Yeah, so it's just a beads necklace.
Yep.
So it's just a fashion type of thing.
Yeah.
So you just wear it out. Normally, when visitors come to Samoa, things like that, they put a ula on them.
Yep.
It's called a ula.
Yep. And also, like, because I know the traditional Samoan pea, the tattoo.
Yeah.
Talk to, because I know I've had people be like, "Well, what's that all about?" And I've got friends who've got it.
Yeah.
But what is that? Why do we see some people having that and some not?
Well, it's sore.
Yeah.
See, that's why I don't have it.
Yeah.
Because it's sore, but it's just a representation of. It's like your identity. Yeah, so like you see someone with a tat like that or pita, you know they're Samoan. So it's just representing. It's like your identity, representing your culture, but like it's just sore. That's why some have it, some don't. But there's a saying in Samoa we say. Kau momoa, ka momoa le nguku, then ka leo pea, which means, to translate it in English word for word, it's like you hit your mouth first before you hit your skin. So which means you need to learn the culture and to speak the culture before you get the pea. But nowadays anyone can get it because if you have Samoan blood, you have the right to get the pea.
I've certainly seen it's a lot more certainly a lot more prominent than when I grew up. And I grew up around a lot of Samoan and Tokoroa, and I only remember one person having pea, but a lot of my Samoan friends didn't speak Samoan.
Yeah.
You know, they were born in NZ. I only had one family, Aliungi. They spoke Samoan. They were like real, true, traditional Samoan. But and his dad had pea, but none of my Samoan friends' dads had it. So they must have been in New Zealand a long time. Yeah. And let's go through some key phrases. I think these are important. We're talking about some of the things are like hello, thank you, all that stuff that we start to help people understand. So why don't you give us some key phrases? What about hello?
Hello for us is talofa, which is the formal way, the informal way of saying hello is malo. Yeah, so it's like hi and hello.
Yes.
To say bye formally, tofa, soifua, but informally is just say fa. Yeah, and then cute.
Yeah. Yeah. And what about thank you? Because you've got formal, I know there are formal things, we're at formal things, so there are certainly ways of saying it.
Yeah. So thank you, whawhitai. Whawhitai lava, or thank you very much, whawhitai lava.
And what about, because you're talking about with Tate, you've been saying things like come here or stop or, what are those?
So, don't
eat my KFC.
You just say, hey. So you to say don't. So normally when Tate's touching something, and when you say don't, you say awa. And then to say come here, you say sau I, which means come here. To say, like when I like about to give him a bath or something like that. So kao ka eli, let's go shower. Leai means no. Fia ai means are you hungry? And then maonga means are you full, like full.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those things are important when it comes to, we've got quite a few Samoan kids through our centres, and them having the language available and used, and them being able to use it in a normal situation. Because would you have used it lots because you went to One Tree? What was One Tree Hill?
Yeah,
when you
One
went
Tree
there?
Hill,
There were heaps of Samoan kids there.
Yeah, like I met one of my mates there. I met him, at One Tree Hill, but we went primary school together in Samoa.
Oh, in Samoa. Oh, yeah.
So like it was easy to find Samoan people when I found him.
Yeah. And were they speaking largely Samoan?
Yeah. So they're fresher than me.
Yeah. But you had opportunities to practice the language.
Yeah.
And I know it's important to you, but why is it important that Tate grows up around hearing his language?
So that he knows that he has that he's Samoan as well. And especially being down here, like when I moved down here, there's not much of the culture that I see down here. So I find it important for me to keep that alive through him.
Yes.
Yeah, so you keeping the culture alive through him, because if for example, if Tate was to grow up in Auckland, he'd be surrounded by the language because my parents, my brothers, all my cousins are up there, they speak it. Yeah, so like we just came back from Auckland in the weekend, and when we got into Auckland, like it was just Samoans everywhere.
Yeah.
Down here, I don't really see much of that, so I find it important for me to keep that alive.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate it. I think it's important, and I'm we're proud to be pushing out the Samoan Language Week. I know there's a lot of opportunities this week to practice it, and we appreciate you coming in and sharing it, because this week when we celebrate the language, we get to use the words and share in the food, but it's also understanding the uniqueness of the Samoan culture. Why they're so competitive against Tongans in rugby league, I don't know.
We're better at everything, though. We're better looking.
We have to wait for Tongan Language Week to see if someone steps into that. But no, we really appreciate your time. Whawhatau lava. It's a privilege to have you in, brother.
Yeah, sweet. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Sweet. Done.
Sweet.
Holy shit. What? You forgot something. I did. Fuck, I did. Up the waz.